I'm Shane Nyland, and my co host is Blake Musser. And these stories you're about to hear are from Weapons Company, 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, 1st Marine Division, about the events surrounding and directly from the mouths of the people who were in Ramadi 2004. All right, man, let's tell everybody who you are.
My name is Eli Mann. I went by PFC Mann in 2004. I was brand new to 2-4 when we deployed to Ramadi, Iraq. Went in there pretty optimistic that we were going to be winning hearts and minds. I remember rolling in on the 7-ton and seeing all the people in the marketplace and everything, and just not knowing what was going to happen. And yeah, it was just different from what I thought it was going to be.
And you were a mortarman, as far as I remember. Were you, I mean, you guys got split. Were you in Sledgehammer or Rainmaker?
I was in Sledgehammer.
That was what I thought.
So what do you see? Speaking of coming into Ramadi for the first time, what do you remember coming into Hurricane Point for the first time, jumping off the back of the 7-ton?
Hurricane Point, I thought it was pretty interesting. I'd never seen a place with a cloth ceiling before. So I walked into it, I'm like, well, I'm sure this will be nice. I'm thankful that it had AC because those days were like really, really hot. Yeah, just getting in there, getting acclimated to everything, being able to be in like a squad bay environment was kind of fun too, because like you had minimal privacy there and lots of shenanigans.
Best way to pass time.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I mean, you're already talking about it. What kind of shenanigans do you remember? How'd you guys pass the time with your minimal privacy, unfortunately?
When I came back after our missions out, I would focus on like music and some writing. I used the old Guitar Pro app to dub music or, write guitar tabs. I remember a time when everyone got a wild hair and I think either pinned down or taped Cifuentes to a pole and shaved 81s in his back, which was pretty cool.
He was a hirsute young man, that's for sure.
Yeah, he would have been a lot cooler if he would have taken that sweater off that he had under his uniform.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I wish I was there for that. He was not a small individual. It probably was a hell of a wrestling match.
No, he did not go quietly.
No.
No, he didn't.
Did you end up playing cards too, or did you just stick to your bunk for the most part?
I stuck to my bunk and to the smoke pit. One of those that helped fill sandbags to put around the structure that they built, because they didn't want us standing out in the open, of course, because of all the mortars that came in. Although most of them were poorly aimed, there were a few that got kind of close, which around the end of the deployment, we had one that got pretty close and it went off very loudly. And we were all standing there like, well, that one missed us too.
Yeah, it was always good when you heard it.
It was definitely an interesting frame of mind that you kind of got towards at the end, and in particular, when it was kind of like, it's not complete apathy, but it was like, well, that wasn't mine.
Yep. I remember one night we actually had one go off in between the hooches that we had. It was a CS mortar, and I think it took out a couple. Well, it didn't take out it. Got shrapnel into a couple vehicles and got into the ventilation or whatever. And like we all had to get up and put our gear on and stuff. So yeah, that one was pretty interesting to wake up to.
I remember being particularly angry because it did take out one of the AC units, and so
Yeah.
So remind me, what now? We ran as we've had these conversations. I didn't fully appreciate that we ran a little bit differently than everybody else. That we didn't really that we did move our truck teams around a little bit. We weren't set the entire time, but what roles did you end up having? I know you were a driver a little bit because I think you drove for me at least once. But were you also a gunner, a dismount? Did you perform a lot of the different roles, and who do you remember going out with the most?
I started as a dismount on the Pale Horse. Stadelman was the driver, and Corporal Worth was the A driver. After I think it was our first IED, Corporal Worth was hit. He got hit in the eye. That one was on a 10-speed bike with a black package on the back of it, and the man standing before it on our first time around that block was wearing a black man dress, or what do they call them?
Distasha.
A black distasha and clean shave, nice haircut. So we make a wrong turn and we go back around. And next thing I know, this thing's about maybe 10 feet away at 2:00 on our truck and just goes off. And it was the most violent sound that I've ever heard in my entire life. I hear that they found the frame of the bike so many yards away from the vehicle. So as a dismount for that vehicle, we all dismounted. We went out and cordoned off the area. I was at the far end of that courtyard where the school was. And something that really confused me is that the kids were like laughing and throwing rocks and just it really got to me, actually, because I thought that they would be happy that we were there, but to see them be happy that this happened was something that kind of got to me. After Corporal Worth was hit, I became a driver eventually. I drove one of the old M998s with the 2 slabs of steel on the side for a while. They eventually gave us doors in the back, which was really nice for the dismounts. And I got an up armor about maybe 5 months in.
Okay.
It was one of the 1119s or something like that. The gray, just regular up armored vehicles, which was really nice because we could move faster. They were equipped with a turbo that could handle the load that was on the vehicle because of the armor and the guns and everything.
Right.
Still no AC, which I'm kind of mad about, but
All right.
Oh, I was just gonna say is like that was a huge improvement because that we finally got rid of that older model Humvee that we had that just could not keep the transmission just couldn't keep up, and everybody else had to slow down just to stay. And it was the vehicle that I was in a lot, but I remember there was a couple times people would floor it, and my driver had the pedal mashed to the floor, and it was just screaming, but it was still only going like 40 miles an hour.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they geared them, for whatever reason, they geared those old ones like the old Jeeps. Like it was still, Korea, Vietnam era, where you're just climbing around through. I mean, it's meant to be an off-road vehicle, so it's meant to dig in, but not very good when you're running the streets. So
Yeah, I was really glad for the up armoreds that they gave us a lot more protection from the IEDs and everything. More notably for the gunners, they had a bit more protection from just standing in the back of a open
Absolutely.
back 998. I think Gwizdak was my gunner for a little bit until we moved to the up armors, and then George Hernandez was my gunner from then on.
Nice. So what do you remember? So when if you were then the driver for the rest of the deployment, you probably didn't get into much dismounted activity. But what do you remember of some of those missions that we went on at that point?
Um,
Any stick out?
wow, there are a couple that really do stick out. One of them was a night mission where at the time Staff Sergeant Cook shot a guy through the back of the neck or the head that decided to shoot at our convoy with a pistol, which was not that smart, obviously. We dismounted and held security there just to make sure that everything was squared away. Got the guy to, I'm not sure where he went, but got him somewhere. As a driver, one of the more interesting um, reactions that we had was on the QRF to the Peace, what do they call it? The Peace Center. There was a platoon that was attacked from the Peace Center, and um, they went in and took care of business like 2-4 does. And we went to cordon off the area. A lot of us had just woken up and we're trying to chug water, because it's toasty out there. And some of them chugged water a bit too fast. I saw a gunner hop off and just blow his guts all over the ground and then get back into the turret. Saw my first dead person there being lifted up into a 7-ton. It was a sight that, no one wants to see that, but, it's combat, so you will. What else? Just the amount of IEDs that we hit was kind of it was a lot. I mean, I think I counted 12 that our convoy got hit with, either indirectly or directly. One of those that we caught actually was on Nova Avenue. I was a new dismount at the time, and I was standing watch. It's like on a dirt hill, and the engineer was right beside me. And he said, "Hey, have you ever blown an IED before?" And I said, "No." And he was like, "Do you want to?" I'm like, "Fuck yes, I do." So he hands me this, the old style trigger where you push, twist, and pull. And he's like, "Just push, twist, and pull." And I'm like, "Okay." So I'm standing there, and he's like, "Anytime now." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I push, twist, pull. That thing fires off, and boom, that IED goes off. Best day of my life.
that's cool.
So we did a lot of overwatch missions at the government center, at the hospital. I remember running out there all the time and stuff. You would have been sticking with the truck most of the time. Did you guys rotate out with your gunner, be able to stretch your legs and stuff, or how did you guys handle that? I was usually up on an overwatch, so I wasn't really near the trucks when that was going on.
We would switch out. There was one time where I was on the government center roof early on, Might have been early on. Yeah, early on. Um, Stand and watch, and there was a really quick skirmish down the road to the right that went off and got us all like on guard and everything. And then, nothing else happened. Um, yeah, it's just about it there.
Yeah, it was interesting with the government center. It felt like, at least to me, it felt like there would be firefights all around it, at least initially. There was some big stuff at the end, but throughout most of the deployment, there wasn't any big engagements at the actual government center. I think just because there were just always so many guns there. There was always private contractors there. There were always multiple military units there. There was obviously plenty of Iraqi police and some of the civil defense corps and random other people with guns. So I think they just stayed away from it, just as a general principle, or maybe the government was paying them to stay away. Who knows?
I think there was also something to be said about how the barriers were set up. Like
True.
you really couldn't get up on top of it. To include, you couldn't engage people very easily. Even when you were up
Right.
on the watchtowers, you did have lines of fire, obviously, but they weren't reached out enough. And because at the end, when I was in the firefight that I was in, it was because I was on the rooftop next to the government center that I was actually able to see some shit.
Sure. Yeah. Well, man, you got kind of baptism by fire really, really early. I mean, we got there into Hurricane Point on March 6th and then, or 7th, depending on when you got there. And then Worth's IED, that bike IED you were describing, was on the 20th. I mean, that was like 2 weeks later. Do you remember anything else of those like sort of early missions before everything sort of kicked off in April?
Um, the earlier missions, uh, I remember walking out of the gate the first time, well, driving out of the gate and then dismounting, walking along the early part of Nova right there
Mhm.
by the dam. Um, just walking along what is it, the Euphrates River?
It is.
Walking along the Euphrates River, just watching everything, watching definitely the ground, definitely the buildings, everything. Um, there was one mission where we were on a QRF um, where Neil, I think he turned out to be a gunny or something like that. He had fired at a couple guys that were lighting off rockets um, at the base. So we went out and we swept the area, and there was a wire going across the road. I looked down and I see it, and I was like, Sergeant Diaz, there's a wire across the road. And he looks back. He was like, well, cut it. And I'm like, I don't think that's a very great idea, Sergeant.
No, that sounds like a terrible idea.
yeah. I was like, that's not such a good idea. So I don't know who it was, but they came over with the Leatherman and cut it. And we traced one side of it back to a car battery and the other side to a makeshift, I'd say a makeshift mortar. It had rocket tubes with metal bars that were welded together vertically and horizontally, and a wire sticking in the bottom of the tubes to where when they hit the battery, it would shock the rocket and send it off. So it was a pretty neat find.
Did you ever launch model rockets as a kid? I remember when you guys brought that back to Hurricane Point. That's what that reminded me of. It reminded me of model rockets as a kid.
Yeah, those are fun to shoot off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same design, just a little bit more deadly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, man, you were I think you were part of my patrol when we were looking for the swimmers when we were on the north side of the Euphrates, and we were stomping through all of the everything on the north side. It was all farmland and stuff like that, and so we were jumping those drainage ditches and stuff like that. Am I remembering that correctly? That you were dismounted? I think it was. If I feel it was you and Gwizdak and can't remember who else.
Um,
There was like I had like six guys, I thought.
I was in a Humvee with Alderete.
Okay.
He was in. I wasn't usually on that truck, but I was put in that truck for some reason. We were out there, I think, for 2 days, looking for those guys. Um, and it was hard on me. Like I would be like trying to stay awake and everything, like chugging Bang energy drinks and just bouncing myself in the seat and stuff. One time already kicked me. He's like, "Hey man, you awake?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm trying." And we eventually switched out to where he was in the driver's seat and I was on the gun, so that I could stand up for a bit and um, just focus my mind to try and stay awake. Um, but
Those were
yeah,
hard.
that
Those were hard pulls. I, w- I don't envy being a driver during that time period, especially when those slow rolls were happening, when you're just inching along and sometimes having to wait. Those trucks were so hot, and the vibration, like it's
Yeah.
just equals sleep. And so,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and searching that riverbank, it was 4 days of searching, but I don't think everybody went out every day. I know we went out 3 of the days, and I mean all day. It was 16, 18-hour days, just obnoxious, man. And I mean worth it, those guys need to be found, but it was God, those are just rough. Walking through and the mud was deep and it was just stinky and messy and didn't know what you were looking for anyway. You're just hoping to find anything.
yeah, that was ours. Where we were just up, and we were supposed to be sweeping like the upper part of the field to see if anybody like drag marks or something. Like there
Right?
was very little that we were told to like go look for them. I was like, what? I don't. Okay,
Yeah.
but like you said, it
Is
needed to
it
happen.
correct that they were eventually found like inside of the river after they stopped the dam up?
So they stopped the dam. The divers found one of them very close to where he went under. He went under and basically stuck in a pocket of mud or a pocket of something, not very far underneath, due to the hypothesis was an undertow or an undercurrent. And then the other one was down river some ways, not too far, but some ways. And then I don't remember if he was lodged in the bank or near some reeds or whatever. Anyway, not out of the water. They were both in the water.
Okay.
And it was the Navy. I mean, I don't know if you remember the boat that came out, but it looked like something out of Vietnam. It was one of those swift water rescue crafts that came up and brought actual divers. And we were on, there were so many of us on both sides of the river making sure that they could do their dives. Yeah, it's a big pain in the ass. But I mean, it's good. It's good they recovered their bodies. Better than leaving them there.
Yeah, it's very true.
Anything else stand out? That was actually in
Um,
May. If you're looking for a timeline, that was actually in the beginning of May.
the coordinate knocks were very long days as well.
Oh yeah.
Um, we would as drivers pull security, scoot forward, pull security, scoot forward. You know, the
Yeah.
very first one, I think that I was with Jamie Rocha, or at least we ended up with him. Um, yeah, just really long days, really long hot days, uh, trying to keep it together.
Sure. Did you were you a part of any of the kick elements? Did you ever go into any of the houses, or were you by the time we were doing that stuff, you were already a driver?
I was already a driver, but I did get to ram a gate, which was pretty cool. It was a night mission, and we went up. I rammed the gate a little bit too hard because it broke my gunner's mount, but I was all hardcore into it, so I just ran the shit out of it and backed up. Everyone went in and cleared the house. So
Nice. We, I think it's funny because a lot of times we found out later that 9 times out of 10 it wasn't locked. It was just latched from the inside, and so if you could like just get somebody over the wall and just open up the door.
Yeah.
But it took us a few to realize that it was just easier to open
To
the door
open
than
it
it is
up.
to than violence of action.
Yeah. One of the saddest missions that I was on was when the sniper squad was taken out. We were on QRF again for
Yep.
that. We went and helped recover them. Seeing those guys get carried out in those body bags and stuff, just it really set a reality even more so into um, into what we are doing over there. That it's not a game. I mean, it's not, you know, like these kids play these games, just get shot, come back and do it again. You can't, man. One guy uh, falls asleep. It's everyone. Um, I remember seeing Jamie Rocha get the bodies up in the back of the Humvee and actually be back there on the ride to one of the air bases to the
Al-Assad.
yeah, Al Assad, to the mortuary there. Uh, yeah, that it wasn't a good feeling to see that happen.
Agreed. That was one of the more somber ones for me too. There was there's just something different. I mean, obviously it was a very different situation than coming to a Q, like I don't know why an IED was different than that. Like, the level of treachery, I guess. But it definitely that one sucked for sure.
Well, I mean,
Um,
I don't know about I don't know what you guys were told prior to the mission. Uh, there was already footage of their bodies on Al Jazeera, and we saw it in the CP before. Not all of us, maybe not everybody, but I don't know, man. The Marine Corps in general, but especially when you're in a company or a platoon, is like a giant sewing circle. The rumors fly fast, and everybody's happy to have a new piece of gossip. And so I imagine what we were looking at in this on the that constant 24-hour stream of news in the CP was probably passed pretty quick by somebody to your platoon. So you probably knew that the news was there. You probably knew that the guys were. It looked like executed as best we could tell. And when we got there, there was it was chaotic, right? You had the Lion Company dudes, some of them freaking out, some of them just angry, like red-faced, angry, wanted to. You could tell if you'd let them loose, they would have destroyed the city. And you had Al Jazeera there already filming. We already had two different news crews, one on either side of the street, filming everybody and everything. And civilians some were just watching, but some were laughing and like taking pictures and like all kinds of stuff. I don't know. It was just a rough scene, dude. It was something you wouldn't ever want to be in.
Yeah, I think you're right on that because I think we might have been day taskable on that one. That's why we were tasked to then drive the bodies up to Al Assad, and so that would have meant that we would have had more content before we went out in the first place.
Maybe. Yeah.
So
I don't know what everybody else
because
was told. I just remember seeing the footage.
yeah, that was a rough one.
as for memorable missions, I think that's the gist of the ones that I have.
Do you remember the mosque mission when we all went in and they and the interpreter shot up the mosque accidentally? It was a night mission.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Anything
Yeah,
stick
it's a
out
whole
to you on
week.
that one?
No, I was in the back of the convoy, in my vehicle with that. I remember hearing the shots and everything. And um, did they eventually go into that one, or did they stay out of it?
No, well, it happened because they went in, and so it was
Oh, okay.
the long story short on it is the other interpreters, they were going to use the interpreters to go into the mosque to search it to see if there was stuff there, and we had given one of the interpreters a video camera. Well, he got in there later than the other interpreters, and when he ran in, it scared the shit out of the one interpreter, and he ended up shooting the place up and hit not only himself but a police officer. And anyways, there was just a lot of pandemonium for zero reason. And it was shortly after that that it was only Rocco that was allowed to have an AK.
Yep.
Yeah, Rocco, great guy.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, go ahead.
Some pandemonium that happened actually in Hurricane Point was the day that we had the sandstorm. There were that's back when the hooches had the cloth roofs at the time. One of the interpreters, Hutches, the cloth roof had ripped off the pegs and was just flapping all over the place while people were out there trying to pin it down.
That's right. It ripped off of theirs and also partially off of Rainmaker's too. They had sand all through their shit.
They're probably still finding it.
No doubt. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, did you end up on the working party to try to hold down the flaps and end up flying in the wind like a kite?
I was holding down one, but I don't think I flew away too bad.
Nice. That's good. I do remember seeing I don't remember who it was. I know it was an 81, but holding on to one of the straps for dear life and like it tossing him back and forth. It was fantastic. Yeah.
What I was going to ask is, I don't know if it's true or not, but it felt like Sledgehammer, that is, ended up having a lot of the special guests. We went out a lot if there is someone special needing to be escorted somewhere. We had Oliver North, obviously, several times, a lot of other reporters, several other people. My question though is did you end up driving any of our special guests? And if you do you have any memories of them? Or
I drove a colonel to I think it was Blue Diamond. I don't really know his name. I just saw his rank and decided to shut up.
It's good.
You're a smart boot.
Yeah,
Smart
I was gonna
boot.
say, yeah,
Smart
very, very good plan.
Good.
I was there
20 years
when
later, I'm still
General
proud of you.
Mattis-
Good job.
Thank you very much. I was there when General Mattis touched down at Hurricane Point.
Yep.
He walked by us, and again, good boot. I saw his rank, and I shut up. There were a few guys that actually got to shake his hand, which was pretty cool. So we watched him walk by, and then we just went back to our hooches and, just did our thing.
Yeah, I never got to see him at Hurricane Point. I heard that he was there, and I know some of the guys from Rainmaker actually got to talk to him. Well, I saw him over at Blue Diamond a few times, but I never saw him at Hurricane Point. You guys got to see some celebrities as far as that goes.
Yeah, and I don't know why I don't know if it's just how the tempo was, where we were just day taskable, and that's why we ended up with it. But my God, I felt like we had.
Yeah, just weird timing.
Yeah.
No, the only, I guess you could say big deal that I ever met in person was like when the commandant came. I got to shake hands and meet the commandant. But
now that we're saying that, I wonder if it might have been due to our size. If you're going to have somebody special, let's make sure that there's some firepower. And so when we would roll out, we were able to be a little bit heavier,
maybe,
a larger escort, let's just say.
Yeah.
I'm hypothesizing, obviously, but
sure. Yeah. I mean, also Staff Sergeant Cook was not to like shit on any of the other staff NCOs, but he was the most
exactly
most polished presenter. Yeah. Right. I would not, I believe in the technical skill of Staff Sergeant Rapazzo or Gunny Merarkey, but I do not believe in their ability to not say the F word. So yeah.
No. Yeah. No, Gunny Cook definitely. Well, there's a reason why he's still in and is
right.
in the places that he is. He's a consummate professional.
Right.
No, we were lucky I don't have hardly a single bad thing to say about any of the platoon commanders, platoon sergeants, and really any of the staff at all. But I know I'm deeply appreciative of Gunny Cook for his leadership while we were there. But
yeah, man. Other than obviously you had Corporal Musser at the time, and you had Staff Sergeant Cook. Who else? What other leadership did you work with? Do you remember?
The guys that I was around, Sergeant Esquivel, man, he was a character. He's full of piss and vinegar, that guy. Corporal Reeves at the time, he came from Fast.
Yeah.
I remember hanging out in the back of the hooch with Corporal Adams and Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
He would actually play the guitar, and I'd sing with him sometimes, which was pretty cool. That's one of my best memories over there. Besides
cool, man.
all the smoke pit shenanigans, and
I don't think I remember that. I know Matroka had a guitar, and I didn't remember that Martinez did. That's cool, man.
Adams
did?
Yeah, Jason Adams.
Okay. I didn't realize he did. That's cool.
Yeah. He's quite the musician. He ended up having a band for a while back in the States. Yeah.
I knew after the McCore, but I didn't know anything about during the deployment. I just never made it over there, I guess. That's nice.
Where we burn our mail and just hang out and, sing and stuff. Let's see.
You know what's funny? I fucking forgot about burning mail. That was an SOP. You are the first person to bring that up, but we all burned our mail because we didn't want anything falling into enemy hands as far as like personal information. That's ridiculous. But yeah, you're the first person to mention that though.
Yeah, we had like a grow grate over it so that it would stay in its place at least a little bit, Yeah. We wouldn't want to catch those awesome roofs that we had on fire. So
yeah.
I got to be with Gunny Cook for a bit. Although he was usually in the front of the convoy, I think. Lieutenant Dobbs at the time, he was our platoon commander, or was it Captain Weiler?
Officially, Lieutenant Dobbs was our platoon commander for 81's platoon as a unit. Okay. But when we were while we were deployed in Iraq, Gunny Cook took the place of our platoon commander with Esquivel as our platoon sergeant. Okay. And then we had, then there's Sergeant Diaz and Corporal Clark also were kind of rounded out our NCO corps at that time.
But a bunch of great men. I was glad to be able to serve under them at the time and have their leadership and everything.
You mentioned Captain Weiler, who was our company CO, and we had Lieutenant Wells, who was our XO. We had First Sergeant Mack. You have any interactions with our sort of headquarters portion?
Captain Weiler at the time. Did he make? Is he colonel or is he general?
He's a general.
He's a general.
He is a
general. Wow.
He's a 2-star now. Actually, he's a major general.
Well, I'll have to address him by his right name, so I don't have to stand at parade rest now.
It's okay.
Major General Weiler asked me to come over and sing this song that De Fonseca wrote. It was it's like Hotel California, but it was made in the city of Ramadi.
Oh, nice!
Because the syllables match up. I never did because I was kind of shy, but he was a great guy to talk with too. Just the epitome of a leader, Who else? First Sergeant Mack, eventually Sergeant Major Mack. He was he was with us actually until I got out. So there were a few times that I was able to talk with him, and the iconic when he would walk up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you like what you've heard, this is a multi-part episode. Make sure you listen to the rest of the story.